greatest racetrack in the world.
We're green flag racing at the Brickyard here in the greatest race of the year.
What's going on, everybody? Caleb here, and welcome back once again here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here during Indy 250 Week 2024, and we are here to officially set the 33-car field for the 2024 Indy 250 this coming Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. It's single car qualifying day number 2, and we are here for the last 9 and fast 9 shootouts here for the 2024 Indy 250. And it'll pretty much go the same way as always. We'll start out with the last 9 shootouts, set qualifying spots 28 through 33. And we'll also find out the 3 drivers that will unfortunately have to sit out from the 2024 Indianapolis 250, and then we will go on to the Fast 9 shootout, where all 9 of our quickest drivers in qualifying day 1 will be going for the pole position. But like I said, I'll be starting out with the last 9 shootout here for last 9 Fast 9 shootout day. And it's bump day for all these guys, very critical part here in Indy 250 week, and unfortunately our 9 slowest guys in Indy 250 single car qualifying will now have to fight for their spot in the 2024 Indy 250. And I mean, just looking at this list, we got some pretty heavy hitters in here, so this is really going to be an interesting session. But going in order from the slowest to the quickest time set in the last 9, Knapp will be going out first in this session, followed by Thomas Troxell, Justin Zajdel, Bruno Di Giacomo, Corey Case, Angel Gutierrez, Zachary Fitzwater, Max Anderson, and Bradyn Perez will be the last one out here in the last 9 shootout. But this is definitely going to be an interesting one. But we'll get y'all to the track, and we'll get the last 9 shootout underway here at Indianapolis. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Last 9 shootout is on here from Indianapolis, and this is the most critical part of the weekend, because today, unfortunately, we will have to determine the 3 drivers that will go home. But Knapp definitely not looking to do that here today. Set the slowest time yesterday in single car qualifying, after actually setting the quickest time in the same session last year. We'll have to see what he can do here today. Cross the line. It's going to be 221, almost 222, and is going to reach 223 into turn 1. You're already seeing the slightly different conditions coming into play. We'll have to see how all the other cars fare. Going to minimize there at 212 through turn 2. And down the back straight away into turn number 3. Going to get up to 222 there. And you saw there, usually we'd have guys get up to 223, 224 yesterday. But through turn 4, going to minimize at 211. Just barely, but down the front straightaway and across the line. It's going to be setting the benchmark here. Knapp clocks in at a 41.013. So that is going to be the benchmark for the rest of these guys. Have to see how well this lap time will hold up. But just have to wait and see here for Knapp here in the 98 for NS Racing. Let's see if he can hold on and stay in the Indianapolis 250. Next up here in the last 9 shootout, we've got yet another big name. We've got the 52 of Thomas Troxell. Like I mentioned yesterday, coming in second in the points standings. And DNQ'd this race last year and does not want to repeat that. We'll have to see if he is able to get himself into this year's Indy 250. He's going to have to put up a fight for it, though. But like I said, Knapp benchmark 41.013. Have to see what Troxell can do here today. But across the line, Troxell is going to hit 222, and he's going to hit 224 going into turn number 1. So quicker than Knapp in that regard. Through turn 3, gonna minimize, or turn 2, excuse me, gonna minimize at 212. And down the back straightaway, he is going to get up to 223. Looks like this is gonna be a quicker lap here than Knapp. Have to see through turn 4, gonna minimize at 210. And down the front straightaway, Thomas Troxell looking to make the Indy 250. He's going to clock in at a 40.950. And that is going to put Troxell ahead of Knapp. So, Troxell already looking pretty good here so far to potentially make the 2024 Indianapolis 250. But still got 7 drivers left to go out. We'll have to see how his time holds up compared to the rest of these guys. Next up, here in the last 9 shootout, we've got the number 75 of Justin Zajdel here for Otter Island Motorsports. Like I mentioned yesterday, we got a lot of heavy hitters here in the last 9 shootout, which is very surprising. But, you know, when it comes to Eco Ratings League, sometimes you see stuff like this. But right now, the 2 clocked in times on the board got Troxell's 40.95 and Knapp's 41.013. So it looks like you want to probably be in the 40s. Here, we'll just have to wait and see. Down the front straightaway, Justin Zajdel, he's going to reach 222 across the line. And he's going to stay at 224 there for quite a bit there going into turn 1. Through turn number 2, going to minimize at 213. This is looking like a great lap here so far for Justin Zajdel. Going to get up to 223 going into turn number 3. And here we go, into turn number 4. Going to minimize at 212 for Zajdel. I think this is going to be the quickest time on the board here so far. Zajdel's going to clock in at a 40.868. And you know what? I think that might be good enough for Justin Zajdel to lock himself in the Indianapolis 250. Like I said, still just have to wait and see. But after Zajdel, we'll have enough cars to set a time that we can start locking people in. We'll have to see if that time stands, but right now, it is looking pretty good for the 75 of Justin Zajdel. Our 4th driver here for the last 9 shootout. Here for the Indy 250, it's the 24 Bruno Di Giacomo, trying to make their way into their first Indy 250. Don't know if they expected to be here, especially after setting the fastest time in main practice, as they were the last to go out yesterday in single car qualifying. But have to see what he can do here today. Coming down the front straightaway, across the line. It's going to be 221 for Bruno Di Giacomo. Not quite going to get up to 223 in turn number 1, but still held 222 there for quite a bit. Going to minimize at 211 in turn 2, down the back straightaway. And like I mentioned, now we've got to the point where we can start locking drivers in to the Indy 250, but Di Giacomo into turn 3, 222. Looking solid here for Bruno Di Giacomo. Going to minimize out at 211 through turn 4. And here we go to the line. Bruno Di Giacomo is going to clock in at a 41.070. That is going to put Di Giacomo behind Knapp, provisionally in 31st. So definitely not what Bruno Di Giacomo wanted there, as he's got the slowest time on the board right now. But that being said, Justin Zajdel is safe now from DNQing. He will be in the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Next up, our 5th driver here in the last 9 shootout, also looking to make his first appearance in the Indy 250, and as for this case, no pun intended, looking to make his first appearance in the Haas IndyCar Series, Corey Case, driving the number 28 for American Motorsports. Had a little bit of a struggle yesterday, which put him in the last 9. He did look pretty quick, though, in main practice. Just have to see how he does here. As aforementioned, Zajdel is now guaranteed a spot in the Indy 250. I have to see how Corey Case does here. Across the line, 222 for Corey Case. Gonna reach 224 going into turn number 1. Through turn 2, gonna minimize at 212. And this is looking pretty good here so far for Corey Case. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Not gonna reach 223. And he checked up a little bit there. Through turn 3. Have to see how that affects him. Down to 211 in turn 4. And here he comes to the line. He is going to clock in at a 41.025. So that is going to slot him in 31st between Knapp and Di Giacomo. And Thomas Troxell is now locked in to the 2024 Indianapolis 250 after DNQing last season. He may have been sent to the last 9 this year, but he did not let that stop him. Troxell will make this year's Indy 250. Good stuff there for him. Have to see how these lap times like Corey Case, Bruno Di Giacomo hold up, because starting to get closer and closer to that cut line. Have to see how things go from here. 4 drivers left to go here in the last 9 shootout for Indy 250 qualifying. Here we go. Another big name that unfortunately found themselves here in the last 9 shootout. Last year's Indy 250 champion, Angel Gutierrez, now fighting for a spot here in the last 9 shootout for a spot in the 2024 Indy 250. We know Gutierrez knows how to get it done here. Gutierrez is with a new team, though, and the first full-time season, so hasn't had as much time to focus here on the Indy 250. But we'll just have to see how things go here for Angel Gutierrez. Coming down the front straightaway, cross the line. It's going to be 223 for Gutierrez, and it's going to reach 225 going into turn number 1. Through turn 2, going to minimize at 212. This is looking good here for Gutierrez. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Gonna reach 223 miles an hour. And here we go through turn 4. Gonna minimize at 212. This is looking good for Angel Gutierrez, looking to make their second Indy 250 cross the line. It's gonna be a 40.913. Angel Gutierrez is in the 2024 Indy 250. Great stuff there from last year's Indy 250 champion. Still showing that he knows how to get it done when it counts. On the topic of heavy hitters here in the last 9 shootout, how about this guy? Zachary Fitzwater, the all-time channel wins leader, the all-time IndyCar wins leader, in potential danger of DNQing the 2024 Indy 250. And even in the grand scheme of things, this will be pretty big for Zachary Fitzwater, because he's coming into this race 3rd in the standings. So it would definitely not benefit him at all to miss the race. But it is Zachary Fitzwater after all. Have to see what he can do coming across the line to start his lap. It's going to be 222 across the line. Gonna get up to 224 going into turn 1. Through turn 2, gonna minimize out at 213. Looking pretty good so far here for Fitzwater. Down the back straightaway. Gonna get up to 223 going into turn 3. And here we go through turn number 4. Is Zachary Fitzwater, the all-time wins leader, going to make it into the 2024 Indy 250? Yes, he is. Fitzwater with a 40.872. He goes 29th on the board, or 2nd here in the last 9 shootout. And that time is going to put Zachary Fitzwater in the 2024 Indianapolis 250. And unfortunately, Bruno Di Giacomo, for the 2nd year in a row, is out of the Indy 250. That's such a heartbreaker there for Di Giacomo and that team. But he will, once again, be able to race in the Freedom 50, so he still has something to look out for. But yeah, that is a tough, tough break there for Bruno Di Giacomo. 2 drivers left here in the last 9 shootout. And first one of the 2 got the number 13 of Max Anderson, who's had a good season up to this point so far, despite Richmond, and does not want to DNQ for this one. Doesn't want a repeat of Richmond, probably, honestly. But right now, Corey Case on the bubble for elimination. His time was a 41.025. We'll have to see what Max Anderson can do here. Cross the line, 221. But is going to be able to reach 223 going into turn 1. Turn 2 going to minimize at 212. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Not quite going to reach 223. Through turn 4. Going to minimize at 211 to the line for Max Anderson. We'll have to see 40.962. And that is just good enough to put Anderson in 32nd provisionally and lock himself into the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Good stuff there for Max Anderson. And unfortunately, Corey Case will unfortunately not be making his first attempt at the Indianapolis 250. So tough break there for him. But still likewise for Bruno Di Giacomo. He will be racing in the Freedom 50 So still something to watch out for. But still tough break there for Corey Case. But all smiles all around there for Max Anderson and Wisconsin Speedworks. They are in the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Here we go. This is it. Time to officially find out who will be in the 2024 Indianapolis 250 and who will unfortunately have to sit out. Last driver out, number 5 of Bradyn Perez, looking to make his first Indy 250 since 2021 in his first full-time IndyCar season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. But we got a very, very big name on the bubble right now. Knapp is on the bubble of elimination right now. He set a time of a 41.013. So pretty much all Bradyn has to do here is set a 40-second lap time, and he's got himself a spot in the 2024 Indy 250. Looking pretty quick so far. 224 into turn number 1 for Bradyn Perez. Through turn 2, going to minimize at 212. Looking good so far for Perez. Not looking good so far for Knapp. Down the backstretch into turn 3. Not quite going to get up to 223, but is going to reach 222. I don't know. Here we go. To turn 4, going to minimize it to 11. Down the front straightaway. Who is making the Indy 250? Is it Bradyn Perez or is it Knapp? It's Bradyn Perez with a 40.967. Bradyn is in the 2024 Indy 250. And unfortunately, Knapp is out. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is incredible. So Bradyn Perez, that puts him 967. Yeah, that's between Anderson and Knapp. So he just got himself in the Indy 250. Incredible effort there by Bradyn Perez and Knapp. But unfortunately, it's going to end up with Knapp going home. Tough break there for Knapp and NS Racing. But still, once again, he'll get a spot in the Freedom 50. But man, that is something else. That is something else here. Oh boy, that was a interesting session indeed. But that'll do it here for the last 9 shootouts here. Taking a look at your results here from last night's shootout qualifying. Justin Zajdel is going to set the fastest time, and he is going to start 28th in the 2024 Indy 250 this Saturday. And looking further on down, Zachary Fitzwater and Angel Gutierrez are going to make up row 15. Thomas Troxell and Max Anderson are going to make up row 16. And Bradyn Perez will be on the inside of row 17, starting in the final spot, 33rd position. And unfortunately, Knapp, Corey Case, and Bruno Di Giacomo are going to have to sit this one out. Really tough break for all 3 of those guys. Man, especially Bruno Di Giacomo. This is the 2nd year in a row that he has failed to qualify for the Indy 250. And that's such a tough pill to swallow for him, especially considering that he's running full-time this season. So that's not going to help him in the point standings at all. Same for Knapp. That's also really going to hurt him after the tough season he's already had. And then Corey Case, looking to make his one and only start here this season. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen. So really, really tough break for him. And all of those guys will unfortunately have to sit the Indy 250 out. But they will get to race in the Freedom 50 as consolation, which that'll be coming up this Friday with qualifying on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that one. It's going to be a fun one. Freedom 50 is always a good one. I can tell you all of that. But, yeah, like I said, that'll be it for the last night shootout. And just in a moment, we will get to your Fast 9 shootout and set the poll for the 2024 Indy 250. All right, it is time to see who will be snatching the pole here for the 2024 Indy 250. It's time for the Fast 9 shootout for the pole here on the second day of single car qualifying. This is also going to be a really interesting one. I'll tell you all that as well. But this is an interesting lineup here too. Got a lot of surprises, a lot of known faces. But taking a look at your qualifying order determined from the slowest to the quickest time, Ace Garcia will be going out first, and then it is Bradshaw, Landon Smith Jr., Chris Reynolds, John Andrews, Angel Olvera, Dylan Mathews, Christian Vargas, and Audra Baranauskas will go out last, who set the fastest time in day one of single car qualifying. And this is going to be a really good one here. But let's head down trackside. We'll get your first car out, and let's see who is going to nab the pole here for the 2024 Indy 250. Well, here we go. The fight for the pole is now on. We've got our first driver coming out here. We've got the number 27 of Ace Garcia. DNQ'd from this race last year, and this year he's fighting for the pole position here in the Indy 250. Incredible turnaround for the 27 of Ace Garcia. We'll have to see what he can do here today, here in the Fast 9 shootout. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. But still similar conditions to last session, so should see pretty similar lap times in that regard. Coming across the line, Garcia will hit 221. And we'll hit 223 going into turn 1. Through turn 2, going to minimize at 211. Down the back straight away. Into turn 3, going to reach 221. Not looking the best here so far for Ace Garcia. Through turn 4, going to minimize at 210. This is probably not going to be a pole lap here for Ace Garcia, but we'll see when he clocks out and he comes across the line. 41.124 for Ace Garcia. So that will set the benchmark for the rest of these guys. Although, since it is similar conditions, in fact, almost identical conditions to the last session, don't know if that's going to really hold up, but we'll just have to wait and see. But at the very least, Ace Garcia will be in this year's Indy 250, and he will start in the top 9 in that regard. So still, nevertheless, an incredible week for Ace Garcia, and he'll be starting in the top 9 here in the Indianapolis 250 here in 2024. Next up here in the Fast 9 shootout, we got the man himself, Bradshaw, here in the 54 for Scuderia Team Velocity. Just can't stop this guy. Bradshaw's been absolutely on fire so far this season and doesn't show any signs of stopping. Now here he is going for the pole position here in the 2024 Indianapolis 250 for Scuderia Team Velocity. So we'll just have to see what he can do. We know he's been absolutely cooking on ovals so far this season. Have to see if he continues that trend. Here we go. Cross the line. 222 for Bradshaw. Is going to get up to 224 into turn number 1. Through turn 2. Where's he going to minimize out at? It's going to be 211 there for Bradshaw, but still looking very quick here in this 54. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Gonna reach 222 there. So yeah, didn't have the best turn 2 there, and that cost him down the back straightaway. But into turn 4, gonna minimize at 211. I think though that slow back stretch is gonna cost him just a little bit, but across the line, it is gonna be a 41.068 for Bradshaw. And that will put him on provisional pole for the time being, ahead of Ace Garcia. So solid stuff there from Bradshaw. but still got 7 more competitors to go here in the Fast 9 Shootout. Our third driver here to set a time in the Fast 9 Shootout. How about the 25, Landon Smith Jr. He's had a tough season so far up to this point. Showed some speed there at Kansas, though, and is looking to potentially nab the pole here for the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Have to see what he could do there for that Wisconsin Speedworks team, but top of the board right now belongs to Bradshaw, although when has at the top of the board belonged to Bradshaw so far this season. But Bradshaw right now with a 41.068, that is the time to beat right now. Let's see what Landon Smith Jr. has to offer here. Coming to the line, 221 crossing the line. Gonna get up to 223 going into turn 1. Ooh, had to get out of the gas just a little bit there. Going through turn 2, gonna minimize it to 11. There for Landon Smith Jr. Let's see, going into turn 3, got up to 221 there. And here we go, turn 4, gonna minimize out at 211. So, looking like a pretty solid lap time, all things considered here for Smith Jr., but let's see, across the line, it's going to be a 41.189, and that is going to be third, provisionally, for Landon Smith Jr., but still, good effort and good time regardless, but at the very least, like I said, he will start in the top 9 here for the Indianapolis 250, but still have 6 more drivers left to go. We'll have to see how things go from here. 1/3 of the way through the Fast 9 Shootout. Let's get the next driver out on track right now. Next out here on the racetrack in the Fast 9 Shootout. Here for the Indy 250 is number 73 of Chris Reynolds. For the Ronnie Racing. Time to beat right now is still Bradshaw's 41.068. Will Reynolds be the one to do it? We'll just have to wait and see. Here he comes, though, off of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway. We'll see how fast he is at the line. Looking pretty good right now. 222 across the line. And he's going to reach 224. Going into turn 1. Looking good so far for Chris Reynolds. Through turn 2. Going to minimize at 212. This is looking like a provisional pole lap so far here for Chris Reynolds. Down the backstretch into turn 3. He's going to barely reach 223 there. I'd say this is looking like a lap that will be in the 40s here for Chris Reynolds. Through turn 4, minimizing, just barely ticked there at 211, but just barely. Down the front straightaway to the line. Chris Reynolds is going to clock in at a 40.923. Chris Reynolds is on provisional pole here for the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Great stuff there from the 73. Have to see if he can hold on. As the rest of our drivers go out, we'll just have to wait and see how everything goes down. Next out, here in the Fast 9 Shootout, we've got the number 07 of John Andrews there for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Andrews finished, let's see, John Andrews came up just short for the IndyCar Series title back in 2023. And has had a pretty up and down season so far. But fighting for the pole here in the Indianapolis 250. Looking to get some of that momentum back. But last time, Chris Reynolds with a 40.923 sits on provisional pole. Have to see what John Andrews does. Cross the line though, 221. For Andrews, going to reach 223 though as he goes into turn 1. to turn 2. Gonna minimize it out at 2:12. So it's still looking like a pretty solid lap here for the 07 of John Andrews. Down the backstretch into turn 3. Gonna reach 2:22. So don't know if this is going to compete with Chris Reynolds, but still looking like a solid time here for Andrews through turn 4. Gonna minimize at 2:11, but here he comes down the front straightaway. John Andrews is going to clock in at a 41.055. That's going to put him second provisionally between Reynolds and Bradshaw. So still great lap there from the number 07 of John Andrews. He right now sits second on the board. 4 more cars remain here in the Fast 9 shootout. Chris Reynolds still right now at the top of the board. We'll have to see, will anyone be able to beat his time? We'll just have to wait and see how things go. Here we go, next driver. Going for the pole, we've got the number 41 of Angel Olvera there for Trackhouse Racing. This will be Olvera's 4th Indianapolis 250. Last season, the 2023 Indy 250, Olvera had to fight for a spot in the field. He was in the last 9 shootout, and here he is this year in the Fast 9, once again for Trackhouse Racing. I have to see what Angel can do here today. Chris Reynolds still at the top of the board with a 40.923. Angel's been pretty quick this year so far. See what you can do today. 2:21 across the line for Olvera. Going to reach 2:23 going into turn 1. I've seen a little bit quicker there, but we'll just see how this lap goes on. 2:12 at the minimum through turn 2. And down the back straightaway into turn 3. Olvera's going to reach 2:23. Held it for a second there. Looking like a solid lap here from Angel Olvera, minimizing it out at 2:12 in turn 4. This could potentially rival Chris Reynolds' time. We'll just have to see as he crosses the line. 40.991, just barely missing out on the pole. Going to slot in at second provisionally between Reynolds and Andrews, but still great lap there from Angel Olvera. Provisionally right now, he'll be in second here at Indy 250 qualifying. 3 drivers left to go here. Chris Reynolds still sitting atop of the board. Next up, going for the pole, I got the number 59 of Dylan Mathews, looking to make her first Indy 250 appearance as a driver. Mathews, of course, was a team owner in this event last season. Was owner of Team Minnesota at that time, but now here as a driver for Appalachian Motorsports. And she's going to make her first Indy 250 appearance. And she is locked into the race, but also potentially going for the pole here. Chris Reynolds, as aforementioned, still atop the board with a 40.923. Let's see what Dylan Mathews can do here. Coming across the line at 2:22. And it's going to reach 2:24 going into turn 1. You know Mathews is quick. Set the fastest time early on in single car qualifying. But got beat out late in the going by an absolute flyer of a lap by Audra Baranauskas and Christian Vargas. 2:22 into turn 3. And through turn 4, gonna minimize at just barely 11. This could potentially rival Chris Reynolds' time. We'll have to see. To the line, Dylan Mathews clocks in at a 40.925. Not quite. 2/1000ths of a second off Chris Reynolds. Mathews will provisionally slot in second, right ahead of Angel Olvera. Man, that was close, though, for Dylan Mathews. Just 2/1000ths of a second off. I mean, with something like that, that drop to 2:11 in turn 4 could have just been the difference. Man, really close there for Dylan Mathews, but still great effort regardless. But Chris Reynolds still atop of the board. 2 drivers left to go here in the Fast 9 shootout for the pole. Next up here in the Fast 9 shootout, we've got the 00 of Christian Vargas. I know Vargas definitely has a chip on his shoulder when it comes to this event. He's finished runner-up here twice, in 2019 to Baranauskas and last year to Angel Gutierrez. He wants to finish a spot better here, but I think what better way to do that to potentially win the pole here for the Indianapolis 250. Have to see what he can do. Chris Reynolds still at the top of the board. 40.923 is the time to beat. Christian Vargas across the line, 221. But he's going to reach 224 going into turn number 1. Through turn 2, going to minimize at 213. This is looking pretty quick here so far for Christian Vargas. We'll see down the back stretch into turn 3. Going to get up to 223. This could potentially be it right here. This could be the lap to dethrone Chris Reynolds. We'll have to see. 212 through turn 4. Here we go. To the stripe is Christian Vargas. Gonna nab pole here. Indy 250 qualifying. Yes, he is. Christian Vargas takes provisional pole with a 40.876. About almost probably 5/10 quicker. No, 5/100 quicker than the 73 of Chris Reynolds. How about that? Christian Vargas takes provisional pole from his former ride. That's kind of crazy right there. But Vargas to the top of the board, but still got 1 car left to go. And it's the car that topped single car qualifying by almost 2/10. We'll have to see if this time holds. But Christian Vargas to provisional pole here in the Fast 9 shootout. Here we go. Last driver to make a lap here in Indy 250 qualifying as a whole. And here in the Fast 9 shootout for the pole, it's number 33 of Audra Baranauskas, your 2019 Indy 250 champion. But everything has led up to this. It's been fun doing this. Of course, qualifying, single car qualifying, it's been pretty time consuming and pretty tedious process, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's produced some pretty interesting results here, I must say. But hope you guys are enjoying and did enjoy Indy 250 qualifying and Indy 250 week as a whole. And really looking forward to the Indy 250. Alex always cooks with that one, but here we go for the final lap of qualifying. Baranauskas 221 across the line. It's going to reach 224 into 1 no. Not quite going to reach 224. Through turn 2, going to minimize at 212. Looking pretty good right now for Christian Vargas. But still got half a lap to go for Baranauskas. 222 into turn 3. And yeah, I think Vargas might have this one in the bag. Through turn 4, we're going to minimize at 211. And to the line, we'll see where Baranauskas is going to clock in at here at the line. Baranauskas with a 41.047. That is going to put Baranauskas in the 5th position for the Indy 250. So still a good qualifying result for Dutch Atlantis Racing as a whole. But Christian Vargas with a 40.876 is on pole for the 2024 Indianapolis 250. My, oh my, that definitely was interesting right there. But taking a look at your results here from the Fast 9 shootout, Christian Vargas nabs pole here for the 2024 Indy 250, and you know what? I believe, don't quote me on this, I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure Vargas won the pole last year for the Indy 250. I'll have to check really quick. But, man, if that is the case, what an accomplishment there from Christian Vargas. still looking for his first Indy 250 victory. Could perhaps this year be his year after getting the pole for, the second year in a row. He won the pole in 2023. He wins the pole again here in 2024. So good stuff there for Christian Vargas. But taking a look further on down and actually taking a look at your official starting lineup for the 2024 Indianapolis 250. Chris Reynolds will join pole sitter Christian Vargas on the front row. And then further on down, row number 2 consists of Dylan Mathews and Angel Olvera. Row number 3 is Audra Baranauskas and John Andrews. Row 4 is Bradshaw and Ace Garcia. Row 5 is Landon Smith Jr. and Brennan Wilmington. Row 6 is Brad Stover and Nicholas Samadillo. Row 7 is John Stewart and Ludovic Charette. Row 8 is Tanner Parton and Bryce Egan. Row 9 is Aaron Abel and Logan Williams. Row 10 is Trey Smith and Blaine Keys. Row 11 is Avery Alford and Skylar Taylor. Row 12, Richard Kinghart, Noah Clifton. Row 13, Luna Lona and Priya McShane. Row 14, Igor Barreto and Justin Zajdel. Row 15, Zachary Fitzwater and Angel Gutierrez. Row 16, Thomas Troxell and Max Henderson. And rounding out the field in row 17 is the number 5 of Bradyn Perez. Unfortunately, not qualifying for the 2024 Indy 250. Like before mentioned, is J. Knapp, Corey Case, and Bruno Di Giacomo. But like I said, they will race in the Freedom 50 on Friday. So they will still have a chance to show what they're made of in that race. But yeah, that'll do it for single car qualifying for Indy 250 week. Was a lot of fun to do this. It was time consuming, I'll definitely say that, but but it was a lot of fun to do, and really happy to be able to do this. But it's been an awesome experience, and can't wait to see what the rest of Indy 250 week has to offer. But coming up later, like I mentioned, got Freedom 50 qualifying on Wednesday. Let's see when that will be. Yeah, Freedom 50 qualifying will be Wednesday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Indy 250 Carb Day practice, which will be run by Alex, will be Friday, May 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you got the Freedom 50, Friday, May 24th at noon Eastern Standard Time. And then this Saturday, May 25th at noon Eastern Standard Time, it's the 11th running of the Indianapolis 250. It's going to be a great one. And this Indy 250 has already been awesome so far, but we're just getting started here. But thank you all so much for tuning in once again, and I will see you all in Freedom. Actually, no, I'll see you all in the Hers Elimination Series, Indy 80K. That'll be coming up Monday, and then I will see you all in Freedom 50 qualifying. Y'all take care, and as always, y'all have a good one.